All right, everyone, we are here with another off-season war. Today we'll be taking in Mr. Negative, Tigra, and Shang-Chi. I'll be taking Path 4 in Section 1, Path 1 in Section 2, and then I actually have 4 mini-boss fights just because I went ahead and took them. So, Path 4 here, going to be using strictly Shang-Chi. He's perfect for this path. Not going to boost. I am going to actually use some more boosts. I had to claim some comp, so some are expiring, so I figured might as well go ahead and use a combat regen here. We're looking to do Cleanse Wushu, Stun Wushu, Reset. And basically that's the game plan until we hit SP2. And then we're dropping the big SP2 to finish off Void. We're going to be gaining a few passive furies. The debuffs really don't come fast enough to gain more than 1 or 2. But really the main point of this here is just keeping any and all furies or debuffs off so that Void doesn't melt us. And down he goes. We had 100% health finishing that fight. So nice and easy. Moving on to the second fight on this path in Aegon. Nothing special here. I mean, it's anyone here, really. As long as it's a fight Shang-Chi can take, he's going to take it. So same thing. Cleanse Wushu, Stun Wushu, Reset. Going to be pretty easy here since Aegon doesn't have any debuffs he places through contact or through hitting into him or hitting into his block. So it's really a throwaway placement. It is an off-season war. They have suicides, so not really a surprise. I just felt like playing Shang-Chi this war, so here we are. Stunning through block, dropping SP2, 3% left. He was down in the first hit. Easy peasy. All right, now we get to go to the fun part, taking this Silver Surfer with Tigra. Now, again, maybe this was the wake-up call. Should have been last war. I did not practice before this. I've taken Surfer a ton with Tigra in quests. It's not a hard fight at all. This node has Power Focus 1, so I could technically continue pushing past SP1 and maintain my space, but I was really just trying to work out an SP1 here that I could dodge, dash in, and then heavy retaliate, and he's just not having it. We are at 2 charges. I end up using an SP1 to create some more space. He's still just not having it. Here comes the 3rd charge. And he's just playing this game again and not throwing it. Working to the 4th. Figured taking hits there might be better than doing blocked hits. We got lucky there with that special. And boom, finally he did it. But at this point, I'm a little tilted. And we mess up the dodge on that second one. So here I'm annoyed, frustrated. He's at 5 high ground charges. Just hitting into the wind here. And then he throws his heavy. For whatever reason, I figure, hey, let me charge a heavy and boom, game over. So another really embarrassing Tiger fight. Let's go ahead and heal up and go in and try that again and actually make it look like we know how to play Tigra. So we're going to go in. We're going to miss this first parry. It's just going to be a block. He hesitated. It is what it is. Aggressively pushing him to the wall. He's at SP1. Hopefully he throws it. Decided to not even wait. Here's that SP1 from us. So we've got 1 sense up. Boom, he threw it. Didn't have to make us bait that much. Now we got him pinned against the wall. Now he's going to be more likely to throw SP1, I guess. So dodging, heavy retaliating, punishing him against the wall. We've got both senses up now. He's willingly throwing SP1. So really wish this was kind of the first attempt. And down he goes. Didn't even have to use SP2. All right, after that, we get 3 Mr. Negative fights. Yay. So we get to find out if I actually know how to play this game. As I said, got a bunch of 3-minute boosts and overflow. So we're going to go ahead and use an APB here just so that we can end the fight a lot quicker. Game plan is always against Power Snack. Parry heavy 3 times, convert the Fury into light. That'll keep us at 9 light energy, keep our block up, and then evade counter by baiting him to come in and hit our block and evade counter the second hit. Now we're at 9 dark, now build some more light, but because he's going to throw SP1 here, we're going to go ahead and avoid hitting him, but we're going to use parry to build more light because we are at 2 bars of power, and our next evade counter is going to give us 16 dark energy. So we get to drop a big SP2. It's going to take him over the 50% threshold. There goes the power from backup recovery in reverse. And he's just melting down. I'm actually surprised he didn't die from that, probably because we're not boosted at all. So even maybe a 10% boost, that would have knocked him out. So I'm actually kind of trying to get him to throw SP1 here. And I just decide, hey, let's evade counter. Down he goes. So neat little way to finish him. He throws a heavy. I evade counter. He dies from evade counter damage. 5,000 hit. Path 1. Using Mr. Negative for both these fights. With Symbiote Supreme, I do not parry heavy. I don't like to trigger as many buffs as possible with this matchup, mainly because it builds his blessing charges, and that means when he changes blessings, I think it's like a symbol. I forget the name. Anyways, it'll push it to 100, and then when he changes blessings, that'll affect how much power gain he gets. And if I'm not at an SP2, or if I don't have that Petrify placed when that blessing changes, then it will be a burst of energy or power for him. And I don't want to have to deal with that constantly flowing. So it's just easier to avoid converting buffs into light energy and build through the parry. So some block damage, not a big deal. So a lot of these fights have suicides, so they're going by pretty quick. Doom here on buffet. Another really fun fight. Ever since Lionheart got moved off of this node, this has been a very favorable matchup or node for Mr. Negative. So APB again. Again, parry heavy 3 times. Convert the Fury into light. That'll put us at 9 light energy. Block to bait the AI to come and hit us instead of using SP1, and then evade counter the second hit. And it's nice that it usually ends up being a heavy attack. If they've got unfazed, then it will pretty much be useless there on the heavy attack. So we convert that, keep 1 Fury buff up, 12 degen, 2 petrified, tick. Every time we trigger a buff, you're going to see a burst of damage as well. It's one nice thing about being Nullify and Fate Seal immune as Mr. Negative duped. You get some additional damage. Alright, so I hadn't planned on taking any minis on Boss Island. I was maybe thinking Magneto with Tigra. But they were still up when I woke up, so I decided, hey, let me go try Tigra against Thing. Have never done this fight before, but he's pretty easy to heavy retaliate special attacks and heavy attacks. So my game plan was just to kind of combo him. Even if we push him over that 15 rock stacks, the neutralize is going to prevent the unstoppable buff. So we don't have to worry about that at all. I was paying attention sometimes when I was going to bait a special to see if he was at 15 rock stacks or more, so that we could just avoid hitting him and just let him lose all those rock stacks. So as you see, it's going pretty well. Got him against the wall. We're doing a great job retaliating his special attacks, but we're not being uber aggressive at the heavy attack against the wall, just because of the spacing of the distance. So I'm really trying to play pretty conservative here and use the heavy when I want to use the heavy instead of kind of forcing the heavy. So here we are, 2 senses, SP2, big burst of damage. So here I wanted the heavy and I went, nope, no, let's not do it. I didn't have the spacing right. And down Thing goes. So with that there. So not a bad Tiger fight for never having practiced it. Since we got through that, we went ahead and threw Tigra at Magneto here. This can be tricky. Ideally, I'd probably use an APB here so that I can place a few ruptures from unblockable attacks, just because his heavy attack has the unstoppable. I actually have not tried nullifying the unstoppable with the Jabari Panther synergy to see if it nullifies safely instead of does what Claire does, which is nullify and still get hit. But really the game plan here, you want to try and get him pinned against the wall so that we can maybe start doing some heavy attacks, or we can have that spacing down with this SP1 so that we can actually land the heavy attack after the SP1 to where it places ruptures so that we can build power. So the benefit I had with this fight is that Magneto had suicides. So I'm just naturally building power thanks to that poison debuff there. So in theory, I could literally do nothing and then eventually get to the bars of power I need. I probably would not get to SB2 though with both senses up. So now we're in a good spot. Luckily, he didn't punish us on that SB1. We're retaliating his SB1 and punishing him against the wall with heavy attacks, building to SB2, and then now that we're at it, we're finishing the fight here. So not a bad fight. We did get intercepted a little bit, but we made it work. So I almost didn't take this Overseer with Shang-Chi, and then I thought about it a little bit and went, wait, no, let's go ahead and try it out, and I'm glad I did. After doing this fight, I probably would have thought about and practiced my game plan a little bit more. I think ideally what we want to do here is in a normal situation where he hasn't just thrown a special attack, we want to get the unblockable buff up, so use the unblockable Wushu, and then with the unblockable up, use the stun Wushu and then reset. If he's used the special attack, we don't want to retaliate more than one hit just to reset brute force. And then, and I messed up the rotation there, like I said, game plan better. And then we would probably want to activate the unblockable through his block and then kind of wait out his stun timer and drop the stun so that we can reset with a heavy freely. So it's going somewhat well. I'm unblockable there, so we're good. Here I'm waiting out the buff. So now we're going to go ahead and stun him. And then we're going to reset. And I think it's this next special attack he does that I forget that I don't have the unblockable buff up. So I go to try to do the unblockable Wushu, and there we go, we got stunned. And now we got stunned again. So there's probably an argument that can be made to have the cleanse ready. But depending on where the rotation is, it's probably gone or not going to help us at all. But in any case, ended up being a pretty good fight. So that was the end of that off-season war. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys at the next one.